Is it fair to assess Colt McCoy at this point? What did you see?
I mean, it's fair to assess him on the curve / grading system that is applicable here, which is he has not taken a snap since, I guess outside of the release duty on Sunday when he came in for Alex, he hasn't taken a snap with the ones in forever, and he came in on 2 days of rest with 0 practice and did some good things. He got like a C for the game. There were some good things. They moved the football a little bit. He got a bunch of guys involved. He got the ball to his playmakers. He also got the ball to the other team, and that's not so great. The DeMarcus Lawrence interception, that happens. That's not his fault. Guys just, the guy made an incredible play, and that happens sometimes. The other 2 picks are not good. I haven't had a chance because of traveling to watch the game back today. I'll dive into the All-22 today. The throw to Harris was definitely a risky throw, but game situation-wise, I'm not sure how bad it was, and Harris was interfered with on the play, and it wasn't called. So it's also hard to say, if Moe had actually been able to make the catch, how does that throw look? But the first one to Quinn is abysmal. And that's a throw that he can't make. And what I think we need to look for moving forward is, does he make it again? Is that something where he just wasn't used to the speed of the game, wasn't used to Trey, and maybe thought Trey was going to cut in front of the DB, and that with more practice rep, a throw like that goes away? If so, they can win with him. If not, they're going to have an uphill battle. I think the other really kind of jarring thing, though, on the negative side was there was a lot of ducks. There was a lot of balls that just weren't these tight, spirals out to a receiver or even over the middle of the field. And he's got to be more consistent as a thrower to make sure that he's giving these guys chances and not giving as many chances to the opponent. He's going to mentally be in the right place most of the time. And I think that's the biggest noticeable difference between him and Alex is Alex was still definitely getting used to the system, and it was getting better incrementally week by week. And I really do think it was starting to look a lot better towards the end for him. But immediately from when Colt came into that game on last Sunday and then obviously the game on Thursday, he was continually deciding to do the right thing an overwhelming amount of the time. It's can he actually physically execute it? I think that is going to be the biggest thing for him. And when he doesn't, that's, what is it? How bad is it? Is it interceptions? Is it sack fumbles? Is it whatever? And how bad is the bad is actually probably going to determine how good they are versus how good is the good.
All right, so we've been talking about the defense and why that's suddenly different than it was, in the middle of the season there, the Alabama wall, every running back was rushing for less than 40 yards. Suddenly, it's the exact opposite of that. Look, you're not going to hold Zeke to 30 yards every time you play him. He's a great back. He's going to get his. But it's a trend, right? We're giving up more points. We're giving up more yardage. And you can't really use the injury excuse there. Sure, Dunbar's been hurt, but for the most part, the vast majority of those guys have been healthy, relatively speaking, all season long. What's going wrong?
So if we want to focus on the run defense, I think it's 2 main things. Your line play has not been as good. Earlier in the season, they just played Allen Ioannidis and Payne, and those guys were incredible, down in and down out. And not that they've been overwhelmingly bad, but they have not been the impact type of players I think that they were earlier in the season. You don't hear John Allen and Daron Payne's names as much as you did earlier in the season on the broadcast, meaning they aren't making as many tackles. And that is, it's not necessarily your job as a defensive lineman to make every single tackle. A lot of the job is eat the double team and let the linebackers come up. But when those guys were making a ton of plays and making plays, not just in the middle, but all over the field, Allen especially going sideline to sideline, like it mattered for this team. And it helped them put up the spectacular early season run that they did. The linebacker play has been horrifically inconsistent, both Foster and Brown, but especially Zach Brown. When he's right, he's as good as anybody. When he's wrong, he's as bad as anybody and doesn't belong on an NFL field. And so when you're that wildly inconsistent down to down, where one play you shoot a gap and it's like, man, this guy is something else. And then the next play, you're like, where are you going? You just have no idea what he's doing. That's going to lead to inconsistency. And obviously against a back like Zeke, you have a bad snap on the wrong play, and he's going to take it for 30 or 40 yards. In the secondary, I think, too, not that Monte Nicholson was playing as a world beater, and Monte's hurt and banged up, so it's not like I'm saying they need to switch back necessarily, but Clinton-Dix has been slow to acclimate to this defense. And it's not, from what I understand, it's not like a mental thing, but he is a step slow here, step slow there. And I don't know whether it's recognition or, look, I had a scout tell me when he got traded here, everyone wanted to throw a parade because they got Pro Bowler Clinton-Dix. But I had a scout tell me, like, buyer beware on him. He's not that good. His athleticism was never his strong suit coming out of Alabama, and he's lost a step from there, even though he's still technically on his rookie contract. His hips are not fluid, and you've seen that at times where some of these tackles are not being made. The angles are really bad, and he just either mentally he's not pursuing the right angle, or his body is not capable of what his mind is telling him. And so it happens. Monte Nicholson's as fast as anybody in the NFL. And you think of one of the plays against Atlanta, the Calvin Ridley play, where he comes across in the slant and Monte takes this terrible angle. It's not, again, like it happens. These guys that they're playing are supreme athletes too, but it's happened a couple of times with Clinton-Dix, and he knows it because he tweeted out the other day, he's like, there's no excuse for my play. This was terrible. But I thought on multiple touchdowns against Dallas, he was out of position. And so you see that, Dunbar was not good. I don't know why he was playing the other night. And Quinn's a battler. He's a grinder. He wanted to be out there. He's super competitive. But at some point, the coaches have to save him from himself and say, look, dude, you're not ready to play right now. Stroman, go back in there. Because he actually did a pretty good job. And I think it's frustrating because you're wasting some really good play all in all from DJ Swearinger, and you're also wasting some pretty damn good play from Josh Norman since the New Orleans game. He's been really good, playing just an unbelievable run of receivers here week in and week out. And so you're finally getting your money's worth or close to it out of Norman, and the defense is not holding up their end of the bargain elsewhere. So it's got to be frustrating in those defensive meeting rooms right now, but they better band together as opposed to starting to pick infighting. And, that's why I think DJ's comments were really interesting the other day. And I don't know how much of that is true versus how much of that is just DJ saying stuff that he thinks sounds good, because that wouldn't be the first time that's happened either.